In this demo, I'm going to try to do a little faster version of the ON1 Restore. So the picture I'm going to use is this original picture, and it's not too dark, and it's fairly light, and the faces look correct here. Slight shading problem here, and there's some flaws here on the original scan. Okay, so I'll go ahead and launch ON1 and select that photo. Okay, so the photo is right here. Actually, that's the wrong one, but the picture is probably okay. I'll just go ahead and use this one, and I'll go ahead and do a restore, and I'll try to make adjustments using the auto image, and then I'll save it as a faithful, which is basically the black and white. And one of the things is, when I do the face recovery, you'll see from left to right, which is the original into the final, and there's some transition in between where the faces eventually, changes. But when you're to the far right, it's when everything is very sharp, stuff like that. So you may see a kind of halo around the faces on the ones that we fix and stuff like that. Looks like I might be having some internet problem, since everything's done up in the cloud right now, and it'll return some of the results that I can manipulate, and it'll resubmit and it'll clean it up. So I notice that if your original black and white source is too dark, it comes out really, the restoration isn't very good. But when it's a little on this lighter side, where you can almost see more of the detail, it seems to work out better. And then it since most of the other surrounding detail isn't that important, it does a fairly good job of sharpening up the lines for that. Okay, so let me go and I could increase, so you'll see that the lines are fairly sharp. They got rid of the mark here. Okay, so if I first do some color adjustment for the tones and stuff like that. So if I move, so you will see by lightening up some of this and the color correction. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and do the face recovery, have it look for all the faces, and I'll select my sister's face. So you'll see from the far left, you'll see the halo effect around the face. And as I move it to the other direction, you'll see that the halo disappears and the lines are a lot sharper. So somewhere in between where I can at least keep my sister's face closer to the original, I just, since I'll be saving it as black and white. Here you'll see the original, my sister's eyes were a little closed, so I'll open it up enough so that it looks better. Okay, and on me there's a little mark here that I think isn't very easy to fix. So I think for me there's really nothing that I would need. On here on my brother, the problem here is because of the shade, the lighting, wasn't very good. So you see this effect on the chin and the shade. So I'll try to move it. See, at some point this becomes very sharp. So if I roll it back a little, you can sort of see where the line's not very sharp. So let me go ahead and try to get to the point where it's sharp. And then on my mom, you can see from here her original distortion from the halo, and then I'll try to find a balance point where it's sharp enough that her face doesn't change. Then on my dad, I'll leave it at that. Okay, so I'll assume that's the way I want it. And even the color on the jackets were a little lighter. So, but what I'll be doing is I'm going to be saving it in this portion, so you can actually see the halo from the closer to the original faces and stuff like that. And then I'll go ahead and do a save. And let me put it as Faithful Face Recovery. And I'll go ahead and do a save. And hopefully I can pause this until it's almost done. Okay, I'm back since it's almost done saving, and I moved the progress dialog up a little so that I could see the faces and stuff like that. So you'll notice that there's going to be halo here, and that mark here. You can't see much of a halo, but hopefully I got the line sharp enough on here. And what I'll do is, once I capture this saved off, I'll go ahead and select it, and I'll do a resize. So I'm not sure what the exact dimensions are, but I'll probably haven't decided whether I'll crop it or not, and see how it looks from there. But definitely the faces look good here, more like the original photo and stuff like that, with some minor fixes like opening the eyes on my sister. And I don't know what I can do to get rid of these halo effect where you saw, I think the final fix, actually everything is in detail and stuff like that. Okay, so it's almost done. and then I'll go ahead and reopen this one and do a resize when it's done. And I noticed that it added shoes and stuff like that that wasn't shown previously. Okay, so here's the original, and so this is the one we did, and I'm trying to find where the update, I believe this, yeah, this is going to be the updated, so let me go ahead and open that. No, that doesn't look like it. Looks like it's this one, since I can see the shoe. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to do a resize, and the original height and dimensions, so right now it's in inches 9 by 12. So if I try to do 8 by 10, I could move it down or up a little to something like that. So it could be a 4 by 5 and stuff. And that's pretty much it. I don't have an option. Okay, so if I crop it a little more, it's not letting me save, so let me try to figure out what I need to do. Okay, so here's the picture. So I cropped it a little, and so I'll go ahead and do the save at this point. So you can see I did a resort faithful with the recovery, and now I'm doing a resize. Okay, so that was pretty fast. So that should conclude this. So here's the resized one. Okay, so that concludes this video.